Hello, I'm SassyDaNoob and welcome to the first in my new series of videos called Unsung Heroes. As the name suggests, we are going to look at the unsung heroes that will be weapons and loadouts in Battlefield 3. We're going to check out the correct loadouts for these weapons and under which circumstances you should be using them. So the correct applications and loadouts and the weapons that people don't expect to see. This week we're going to take a look at the AN-94 assault rifle. Yes, this isn't the least used weapon out there, and it does have its fan following, but I thought it was worth highlighting as it's certainly not one of the try-hard weapons. Let's take a look at the stats. 600 rounds per minute on full automatic. The recoil has a tendency to the upper right. Damage is assault rifle standard, 25 up to 10 meters, dropping to 18.4 at 50 meters and thereafter. The reload is 2.45 seconds and 3.3 seconds for short and long reloads respectively. It does have a fantastic burst mode which is due to the low first round recoil of 1.5. That's one of the lowest first round recoils out there, and this allows the burst mode to fire 2 rounds almost spot on the same target. There is the tiniest amount of deviation, but there are so few situations in which one round will hit and the other will not that it's almost as good as firing 2 rounds at a time. It also has very high bullet speed, and it's up to the range of the snipers. You're talking 600 meters per second, and so it's very easy to hit moving targets, and the bullet drop is very low, especially for an assault rifle. The reloads, one thing worth noting is that only 75% of the reload is required to be completed for the weapon to be reloaded. And so what that means is that on a long reload you can get away with throwing a med pack or reviving your teammate after only 2.5 seconds and then returning to your main weapon with a full magazine. So that's quite a handy thing to know. The hip fire is surprisingly effective, even though the crosshairs are extremely wide. So if absolutely necessary, I found the hip fire works, but where you can, you want to be aiming down the sights with this weapon, because its only chance in close range is to hit its target. You can fire rounds with the AN-94 faster than pretty much any other weapon out there. And I tested this. I took footage of firing the weapons and I slowed them down on my PC and I just watched them 1 frame at a time. And the AN-94 will fire 4 rounds, that's death dealing damage at close range, in 10 frames, recording at 60 frames per second. Whereas the FAMAS, for example, a very high rate of fire weapon, takes 11 frames at 60 frames per second, and so the AN-94 will get death dealing damage in a quicker time than even the FAMAS. So if you can be accurate at close range, if you can resist the temptation to try to spray and pray, the AN-94 will perform exceedingly well in close quarters. Let's look at the loadout. The loadout you want to be using is definitely not your usual assault rifle combination of foregrip and heavy barrel, because that will not do you any favours whatsoever. Remember, the first and second round come out so quickly that the side-to-side recoil isn't even important. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And so if you apply a foregrip to the AN-94, all you are doing is wasting that attachment. So what you do definitely want is a heavy barrel. The heavy barrel will improve this weapon no end at range, because the accuracy is excellent as standard. You add a heavy barrel and you know full well that you will hit your target. If you aim correctly, you will hit your target. Also, again, with that fantastic burst mode, the heavy barrel has no real penalties at shorter ranges, because you are always dealing with the first round recoil of 1.5 and not the increased muzzle climb that the heavy barrel applies. And this is the reason why I would suggest to anybody that's wanting to use a weapon, use it in burst mode. Get used to firing each burst individually. If you've ever used a semi-automatic sniper rifle, it's pretty much the same principle, especially if you've ever used one with like a Cobra sight on and a laser and gone up close. It's the same principle. Click, 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 and the guy's dead. No problems. Every time. The weapon seems to kill so quickly, and there's virtually no limitation to the range. Obviously, you can take snipers out at 100 meters. I've done it many times, especially on Team Deathmatch. But you don't want to be taking them on at 200 and 300 meters. That's not going to work, because their first round is doing big damage, and you have to hit both your rounds, which you won't at that range. Although they come out very quickly, they don't land on top of each other. There is that slight amount of deviation. So don't be putting rifle scopes on it. I'm sure that somebody will post a video showing that the AN-94 is perfectly good with a 12 times scope on it, but really and truly, that's just trolling. So just to recap, long range effectiveness, Cobra, hollow, and possibly the 3.4 times scope. I have a friend that uses a 3.4 scope, and he does immensely well with it. But I prefer that close range effectiveness, because my feeling on it is that you have more options to get out of a longer range engagement. You can back off, find cover, whatever. Short range engagement, you have to win or die, and so that's why I prefer to go for the Cobras and the holographic sights over the 3.4s. Anything over a 3.4 and you're just destroying your close range effectiveness completely. Anyway, this is the end of the first Unsung Heroes. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and a favourite. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and perhaps even subscribe to the channel to get next week's Unsung Heroes, and leave me some comments. Let me know how you've been getting on with the AN-94. Or if it's already your favourite and you hate me to death for giving away your secrets, or perhaps you've never used the AN before. So give it a try. I'm open to suggestions for next week's Unsung Heroes, so perhaps you have a weapon that you think is underused and undervalued by the community at large. Give me a shout and I'll take a look, and perhaps that will be next week's video. Anyway, I'm SassyDaNoob. Thank you for listening. Bye bye for now.